The leader of the resistance in Faron Woods was a young sorceress named Lana. She was of the same clan as Sia, who had summoned the monsters to Hyrule. Lana had been fighting Sia's army since it arrived. Sia now sought to complete the Triforce and use it to conquer Hyrule. Link and Impa decided to join forces with Lana to prevent further tragedy. Although the monsters of Faron Woods had been defeated, Sia still controlled most of Hyrule. Every day, more creatures appeared and swarmed the land. Link and Impa fought on against the darkness, sorely missing Zelda's leadership. Only one solution remained: stem the tide of monsters by closing the Gate of Souls. The heroes headed to the Valley of Seers to put an end to the bloodshed.
Hyrule Warriors walkthrough part 3. I think this is the Valley of Seers, and it's going to be one of the levels where you get to run into Sia early on. And this is also the first level where you get the chance to play as Lana. And Lana isn't too difficult of a character to get used to. In fact, they're all pretty much the same when you think about it, but some characters are a little bit clunkier than others, and she's pretty smooth. Her spear isn't very fun, and you unlock that after this match, but for this first part where you just get to use her book, it's okay. So the first thing I would recommend doing is capturing this keep right here, and you're going to spend a lot of your time capturing keeps in this level. Particularly, most of them, or a lot of levels, you can just focus on it, kind of get it done, and then move on to what they want you to do, but in this one you are really going to want to take over as many keeps as you can, and that's because you want to protect your home base. And the final boss in this stage does kind of teleport around the map a little bit, so having as many of your own people on the map as possible will help keep your base protected and prevent you from losing. Now, another issue with this level is that the enemies don't like to spawn in big groups inside these keeps, so you're going to be spending a lot of time just trying to get that stupid health bar down. But for this one, it's just taking forever because there's no enemies, and all the enemies are diluted by all of my own people. So then finally the keep boss spawns, and by now I've gotten the objective to capture the two vital keeps, which are to the east and the west, and they tell you to go for the west one first, so that's the one on the left. And all you have to do is run up here, and you'll see a group of enemies here. I would take them out, or at least thin them out, and then try to kill this Dark Nut. The Dark Nut drops a new item which will help with upgrades immensely. And just, if you're ever stuck at a point where you can't get any more upgrades, and you've gone 5 levels forward but you can't get another item, go back a couple of levels and try to redo them on easy or something just to get them over with, and kill a lot of the special enemies that you run into. That way you can actually upgrade. Now, Beamos is going to be a new nuisance that you're going to run into. And if you leave him, even if you capture the keep, he will remain and he will destroy all the soldiers that spawn in the keep that you captured. So what you want to do is get rid of him as quickly as you can, and to do that you have to charge up your special meter and then attack him with your special attack. So for this level I would save up your special attack meter until you take over all of the keeps, and I wouldn't really use it on armies too often. I would try to just keep it for the keeps so you can take out the Beamos, and that way you can have a lot more units inside of your keeps and you don't have to worry about them being destroyed from the inside. If you do leave the Beamos, like I said, they're just gonna kill everybody inside there, and all your keeps are gonna fall near the end of the match, and you're gonna be kind of wondering, like, what the heck do I do? I don't know if there's any other ways to take out those Beamos. I'm not sure if a giant bomb upgrade does it, but the only way that I do know of is the special attack. Now, a chest spawned there, and for like the second time in this walkthrough, I completely forgot about it and just skipped it, so I have no idea what's in there, but this happened, I think, in the last video too, where I just forgot to open up the chest. And I think part of the problem is when you capture a keep, it kind of goes into a small little cutscene that you can't really control, so then I spend that time looking at the minimap, and sometimes a chest is what spawns in that cutscene that I pay no attention to. So I'm looking at the minimap, and as soon as I get control of the game again, I just keep going and ignore the chest completely. But try not to be me, try to get the chests. I'm working on it. Hopefully I'm getting better. And hopefully it won't be as bad in later videos. So Volga makes a return in this level, and he is kind of annoying. He can get close to killing Impa, and in the time it takes you to take the Western Keep, Impa will probably have pretty low health. I'm not sure if she's a defeat condition, and I just mean if she dies, I don't know if you lose the match, or if she just retreats and you have one less hero. But it's still good to try to keep all your heroes alive, and as soon as you're done taking that keep, you'll want to come over here, try to kill Volga. And like most of these bosses, I found it's just best to hit them twice, roll to the side, hit them twice, roll to the side, hit them 2 or 3 times. Keep doing that. If you get lucky and they do one of their fast attacks that puts them in a weak spot, then whittle that down until you can kill them, but you really shouldn't have to do that too often. And eventually Volga will be dead, he will retreat, and you don't have to worry about him for the rest of the match. So now you're going to want to try to take over that Eastern Keep, and I think, like looking back on this, remembering when I played this, I think I spent a little bit too much time capturing keeps, because each level should take you around 15 to 20 minutes, and this level took almost 30. I think it took like 25. So not only is that half the time limit, but a lot of it I just spent running around the map trying to take out outposts and a bunch of other keeps that I probably could have done fine without, but like I said at the beginning of the video, it's good to try to take over as many as you can. So run right in here, destroy this Beamos. They can be really annoying just for you because you may not be paying attention to them, you may be paying attention to a Dark Knight, and then all of a sudden you have a big laser that just knocked you over 10 feet, and it's just really annoying. They don't hurt you too much, but the real damage they cause is to your army. And again, here's that problem I was talking about earlier, where the keep just doesn't have enough people in it to take down the health bar quickly, so you just gotta whittle away at it until it ends, and then the keep boss will spawn, and you'll get this final keep. And then I think the doors on the west side are gonna open up, and you're gonna have an objective that's actually more to the right side in a second here. So, it's going to be up to you whether or not you want to risk losing that objective, or if you want to go on over and just take out that keep and not worry about it. I think I just end up helping what comes next, but I'll talk about that when they're done talking. So of course try to defend some of the keeps that you do have. If one looks like it's about to fall, go over and help it. And I do actually end up picking up this chest, thank goodness. I think this one's just a weapon. It's nothing entirely important. The weapons do help, but it's not like a heart piece where it's like, oh no, I missed it. Okay, so the Dark Forces do start advancing, and that's really going to happen in every match. You're always going to get to some point where the enemy's angry, and then they send wave and waves and waves of enemies onto you. Just try to thin out as many army spots as you can, and if you notice there's a big red spot in the bottom left of my map here, and I do end up taking care of that later, just because that outpost is a little bit too close to my base, and I don't really like having that red spot there. So I thought it was worth going down there to take it out. And what happens now is that you have to escort an engineer to the bridge, and because he needs to lower the bridge so you can get across. And that's of course because those vines that popped up are blocking your way and you can't get rid of them yet. So what I did first before I helped the engineer, he can manage on his own for a little while. He's got a lot of people around him and he's not very weak himself, but what I did first was just came over here, destroyed these people, and then brought back my side of the outpost captain, and that way I don't have to worry about this place anymore. I'm not really sure how the enemies even managed to take it over. There must have been a small group left, and then they must have just been multiplying on that outpost, but I did take out the big groups there and then spawn the outpost back, and I hoped that that was enough and I wouldn't have to worry about it anymore, and I don't think I had to for the rest of the match. So when that's finally done, if you even have to do that, just run up and help the engineer. And this part was kind of annoying because it took him forever to finally start advancing with me, and you kind of have to walk in that direction right next to him, but normally he'll start going on his own, but I think there were so many dark nuts around him that he just had a hard time trying to get going forward. But when you do run into him, just try to clear all the enemies around him, kill all the dark nuts, pick up all their materials, and just do that until he starts walking, and when he gets to the bridge, then the next part of the level is still pretty fun, but that'll take a little bit to get to. So another thing about the Dark Nuts, I kind of wish they were a little bit harder, because in all the Zelda games they're always my favorite enemies. I haven't played Twilight Princess yet, but I've played Wind Waker and I played Skyward Sword and a few others that had Dark Nuts, and they're so much fun to fight because they're like the big super knight that takes forever to take down, and it's like an actual battle to finish him off. But in this game, it's just kind of they're pushovers. They're worse pushovers than most other enemies, just because their weakness meter seems to come up a lot more often than any other special enemy that I've run into in this game. And the Gibdos and the Redead so far have been the worst enemies, just because they stun the crap out of you and they do it often, but the Dark Nuts don't really seem to have too many of those abilities. If you're really far away, the Dark Nuts will throw their sword at you, but that doesn't happen very often. So at this point, I am starting to wonder why on earth isn't the engineer moving, and I just, again, kill all the enemies that I can. For some reason, he's just having a hard time, and I came out here, cleared out some of these, and the engineer finally started following me, so that was good news. And for him, it was just a straight shot to the bridge now. Didn't really have to worry about it anymore, because there's no enemies in front of him. So I decided to run up here and take out anybody else that I could find, and try to defend this outpost, or this keep that is at risk over to the west. And I would think, especially in this level, you don't want to let many of your keeps fall if you can help it. There's an outpost captain right here in the middle of the battlefield, but I have the hardest time keeping hold of this guy. I don't know why he is just so... I don't know why that outpost is just so hard to keep. And there's always some enemy somewhere that takes over that outpost throughout this entire match for me. It's really annoying. So then I get in here and the bridge falls, and right now you can walk right up the bridge if you want to. I decided to let my army battle out the people that were there for a little bit, and I wanted to protect this west keep because I really didn't want this to fall. And then I think I went and took that north keep. That's still on the west, the most northwest keep. I think I end up taking it here in a second. And I also run into the gold Skulltula, so while this is not a Skulltula guided walkthrough, I will have that in a separate video. I do sometimes run into them on my way, and right here it is. You can hear the scratching of the Skulltula, and you get an illustration piece. The good thing about getting illustration pieces is that it will also upgrade your bazaar, so you can get better potions and you can get more options when mixing potions. I don't usually use the potion mixing too often because some of the potions don't seem spectacular so far. Right now the most useful one has been the health one, but if you're really confident and you go into a level, I'm sure you can use some of those potions to get extra rupees or items or something, and you can grind out whatever you need pretty easily. For now though, especially your first time through this game, I would probably just focus on keeping the health potion. And I don't actually have a health potion in this game, and that's because I forgot to go to the bazaar before I started the match. And that kind of worried me when I was playing this, and when I realized I didn't have a health potion, it really worried me because the boss can be really annoying, and the boss can whittle down your health a lot. And the first time I fought this boss, I had to use a health potion, but luckily this time I did fine. I didn't fail the level, and that's really all that matters. But try to upgrade the character that you'll be using as much as you can before you start the next level, just whenever you're doing the level. So when you do finally take over those 2 keeps, or I guess in my case that 1 keep, just run on over here to the east and run up the bridge. Now my people didn't do so well with the army that came through, so I came over here and took out this group of enemies and tried to take back this outpost. And that just gave me yet another foothold, and I didn't have to worry about the right side of the map being taken over. Another kind of annoying thing about Lana is that her Y attack traps an enemy, shocks him, and then sends him flying backwards. And while it does do a lot of damage, when it sends him flying backwards, it's really kind of difficult to get in range to attack him again. And that was one thing that I don't really like about her Y attack. I mean, in this game, if you started sprinting right away, and later on in the game you do get pretty close to that, but if you started sprinting right away, it wouldn't be as bad, but having to walk kind of slowly just to get to it, just to finish off a stupid outpost captain, is annoying. But you don't have to play as Lana the whole game if you don't want to. I still think she's a pretty cool character, but she may not be the favorite for everybody. So when you're walking up here, take out the outposts that you can. More of these tendril things will spawn, and then it's gonna ask you to go on over to the west side to get the boomerang that you're actually gonna need to take out these vines. And I decide when I do this level, I just think it's better to take over the right side first. That way your people own pretty much the entire right side of the map. And then you can go on over to the left side and take that over, and that way you have no worries when you're taking over the boss. The middle of the battlefield will still have a lot of action going around in it, and you could lose some of those keeps that are kind of around the middle, but it's not really a big worry, and when you're killing the boss, it should be at that point where you can lose a few keeps, kill the boss, finish the level, and you're fine. So again, take out the BMOS as soon as you run into him, and try to charge up your special attack meter once again without using it like I just did. I have no idea why I did that. I think I might have mistapped the A button, but it was entirely pointless, didn't do anything, and it barely even took out enough enemies to consider worth it. So when you finally get these stupid enemies down to where you can kill the keep boss, take him out, and pretty soon here some summoners are gonna spawn, and I think this is the first time in the game that you run into these summoners. And the summoners are really just annoying more than anything else because they act like walking outposts. They can summon people as they go by, and they might have been introduced a few seconds ago actually. I wasn't paying attention. Anyway, they can just overwhelm your army pretty quickly, so if you do see any, take them out as quick as you can. The first thing I'm going to do is take out this gatekeeper, and when I get my boomerang, this will allow me to open up the center here, which doesn't open up yet, but when you open up that center, then your army can come pouring through the top, and that really is only necessary if you didn't take out those 2 keeps, or that 1 keep that I just did. The main battle, again, is going to happen down here. I saw a couple of these summoners right here, perfect for me to use my special attack and take them out, and then I think I saw another one right here. And you'll just want to take all of those out so your army isn't battling with extra enemies. And then this outpost got taken over again, so I took it over again, and I still don't think that was enough. I think it got taken back another time. So when you're finally ready, head on back to the west side of the map, and get ready to get your boomerang. Again, just pick up all the materials you see. I've said that like 20 times this video, but it's really important because it will help you big time if you don't miss any, or if you try not to miss as many as you can. And that Dark Nut was already half dead, so that's pretty good. If you plan on running through armies, just take out the special enemies at least. Your people, like the Hyrule Warriors, seem to have the hardest time killing those things. And they don't seem to have too much trouble actually killing the little mini creatures. But here's another outpost, so I'm just going to take that out. And when you walk into this keep on the west here, then Sia is actually going to trap you inside of it. So if you have low health about now, which you shouldn't, but if you do, then just try to get as many hearts as you can, just so you don't get stuck here. And you're not going to be able to run because the gate's just shut. So now your only option is to take over the keep, and I did misclick there. I didn't mean to push the A button because I wanted to save that for a BMOS. So now I'm having to kind of carefully take out this keep so I can have enough enemies to defeat so I can actually take out a BMOS. And killing this Dark Nut did actually help me a little bit, and then enough new enemies spawned that they grouped together enough that I could get my special attack meter up really quickly, and I waited on killing the keep boss. I didn't take him out quite yet. I'm almost there for my special attack meter now, and I went to this giant group that's just sitting next to him, and then it was good enough to take over the keep boss, and I think I actually got whacked by that BMOS there, but then I took out the keep, then I killed the BMOS, and then I picked up my boomerang. The boomerang is pretty fun to use. It stuns enemies that it hits, like in any other Zelda game, and it can be really helpful, especially for some special enemies that can be just annoying to try to kill without a stun. And it's not a very long stun, especially for special enemies, and I think you can upgrade that stun duration in the Bazaar, but for the most part, it's something that you may want to consider using. And all of your characters will have it when you pick it up, as with all the other weapons that you get. So now what you need to do is go to the summit, but I think it's worth trying to take out a few of these vines first. And if you didn't take out both of these keeps, this vine down here is one that you will want to take out that'll allow some of your troops through. And if you did take over both those keeps, that won't really be necessary, but I left it there just in case you wanted to see where it is. So for the two vines that actually matter, they'll be up here, blocking the way to the summit. And you only need to take out one of them, but I decided to take out both just because it might make it easier to get through if I had to. And I believe there are two more walls of vines that are kind of on the middle of those two paths. I can't really show it, but I'm kind of heading toward it right now. If you could keep going this way, and then you'd go up and then down, I think there's vines there. And if you want to take those out, you can, but those would be kind of a waste of time. And at this point, I've already taken up so much time doing all the other crap, I decided I should just try to finish the level. And now that you are at the final area, you can take over that keep if you want to, but I wouldn't really recommend it. There's not a whole lot that's going to come through there, and if you took over the outposts at the top, then it's not going to be a worry at all. For the hard difficulty, it might be worth doing, but for the most part, I would just go after Manhandela. And this is, of course, the giant serpentine piranha plant, whatever the heck you want to call it, that you have to kill with, what else? Your boomerang. And this boss, the first time, took a couple of tries. Well, not really tries, but it took me a couple of health bars. And that was really annoying because it has this stupid seed attack that is kinda hard to dodge if you're not looking for it. So first things first, you need to get down there, and that can be done just by running and jumping here, and you'll be right back to the middle of the battlefield. and then you can lock on to the Manhandela, and if it does this attack, this is the best attack that you want it to do, because then you can hit all 4 of its heads with one boomerang shot. And if you miss one on the first stage, it isn't enough to get it to where you can damage it, and it'll still go around trying to hurt you. And usually after it does an attack, whatever had attacked you will turn a different color, and that's the color that you can hit it with the boomerang. Once you hit all 4 heads for this first stage, then you can whittle away at its weakness bar for the gem that I guess makes up its heart. And once you get it to about halfway, you will want to jump back as much as you can, because it will damage you a lot, that stupid spinning attack. And right there is that seed spore attack that it does. That attack is so weird to dodge. So I've found that getting around being hit by that attack, all you have to do is circle this boss until its head turns the color that you can boomerang it. And once you take out all 4 heads, you'll be able to take down its health again. I would try as hard as you can to get it down to at least half of this weakness meter. That way you only have to go through 2 cycles to do a really damaging attack. But even sometimes you get really close and he'll just wake up and knock you back. And I got a little bit lucky here for a few of his attacks, because he did his all 4 heads in a line attack again there, and that's a big help. That makes this go a lot faster. And I could whittle him down and got him to a little bit above half health. And this is where the second stage comes in, and he's gonna run away like all coward bosses do. And then you will need to watch for the points on the map where his stocks spawn, and then you're gonna have to go destroy those until the real one pops up again. Now, if you were paying attention, you would have seen that this guy started a vine attack, Bulbasaur style, on your main base, and if that main base falls, then you lose the game. So this is kind of a timed event, and you do want to get this guy dead as quick as you can. And once again, I just took over that outpost. So this part here, I believe, is random, and that just means the point that he spawns for me probably isn't going to be the point that he spawns for you. And that can be kind of a nuisance, because you might get him the first time or you might get him the last time. But all you have to do is find the stock, walk up to it and whack it until it falls, and do that for the other 5 stocks, or until he spawns. When he does spawn, all of his attacks are exactly the same, and he shouldn't be much more difficult to take out. And I think for me, 3rd time was the charm, which kind of annoyed me because I took out the 2 on this side of the map and I had to walk all the way to the complete other side of the map. Picked up a couple of stray materials that just show up. I think they spawn even if you didn't have anything to do with killing the special enemy, or maybe sometimes I just missed them, I'm not sure. And then here's the final stock where I destroyed it, and this is where he actually comes up. So again, just lock onto him, circle around him until you can throw your boomerang at him, and he'll have a few new attacks. I said they were the same, but I forgot that he does have a few new attacks, and that mainly is that stock that he spawns at you that you can destroy, and that kind of seed thing that falls from the sky, but that's pretty easy to dodge. So when you kind of see his 4 heads do that, just try to avoid it. He's really annoying when he gets you stuck in that seed attack. And for this stage, for some reason, sometimes when you take out 2 heads, it'll be enough to stun him and you can attack him, and sometimes you have to take out all 4. I'm not really sure what decides that. But when he did that seed attack there, it only looked like 2 heads fell. I mean, maybe the boomerang hits all 4 and it just doesn't look like it, but to me anyway, it just looked like only 2 heads got damaged, and that was enough. And right here, I kind of had no choice but to hit all 4, so there's that. But then his stomach will open up again, you'll be able to whack it as much as you can. I think I got really close to getting the last wedge of this stupid weakness meter down, and he just got up and spun. That was really annoying. And all I have to do is just do that one more time, then he dies, and that is it for this level.
Sia had already claimed the Triforce of Power. From Link, she stole the Triforce of Courage. The Triforce of Wisdom was the birthright of the royal family of Hyrule. Yet Sheik bore it when Sia attacked. Once Sia possessed all the pieces of the Triforce, she used its incredible power to bend time and space and open doorways through the ages. Portals to 3 eras appeared. Lana explained to the others that a gate of souls had been opened in each of these eras, and it was through these gates that the monsters came. By opening these gates, Sia had released the fragment of evil spirit imprisoned in each of the other eras. The task before the heroes was therefore to travel through each portal and close its gate. Once all the gates were closed, they could begin repairing the damage Sia had inflicted on their land. With time growing short, Link and his allies split up to handle all 3 gates simultaneously. They each vowed to close their gate and return safely.